He told her she was too poor for his future. He had no idea she was the one who owned it. This isn't just a love story. This is the story of the most brutal, life-changing job interview of all time. Have you ever been underestimated? Ever been treated like you were nothing by someone who thought they were everything? It's a pain point that makes you question. Is kindness just another word for weakness? Herman Barton certainly thought so. He was about to find out just how wrong he was. He was the ambitious man, obsessed with landing his dream job. She was the poor girlfriend he humiliated and callously left behind so she wouldn't get in his way. The ultimate plot twist? That poor girlfriend was the billionaire CEO of his dream company. And she's waiting for him in the boss chair. So, what happens when the man who called you a charity case walks into the boardroom to beg you for a job? The shocking revenge, the drama, the regret, and the path to an unexpected redemption is about to unfold right now. Get ready for an emotional roller coaster. If you believe that true character is what you do when you think no one important is watching, like this video as a sign that you are ready for justice. Comment with the one word that describes his arrogance. And subscribe, because this story will change your day. Let's get into it. Ah, the final curtain call on there. Well, his version of a love story. Herman Barton stood in the center of their tiny, rented apartment, a place he suddenly found suffocatingly small, just like its other occupant. Gloria Fox was watching him, her expression unreadable, which, frankly, just annoyed him more. He was about to give her the speech, the one that would liberate him. He was a man on the move, and she was, in his mind, nothing but dead weight. Gloria, listen, he began, straightening the cuffs of his one good suit. We've had a good run. It's been fine. But I'm looking at the horizon. He pointed vaguely towards the smudged window, as if a billionaire lifestyle was physically manifesting outside. I'm destined for the top, and well, you're just not. The words hung there, stark and cruel, a prelude to the real drama he was about to unleash. He was gearing up for the kill shot, savoring the impending power. What I'm saying is, he continued, puffing his chest, aimed at the stars. He didn't know how right he was, just which star he was aimed at. And you're comfortable here with this. His gesture encompassed her simple, kind life. Gloria Fox, meanwhile, was cataloging this moment. His tone. His stance. This wasn't just a breakup, it was a character assessment, and he was failing spectacularly, revealing his true self. I have a life-changing opportunity coming up, Gloria. A real one. He was, of course, referring to the job interview he'd been obsessing over. I can't be held back by circumstances. He looked at her simple dress. I need someone who understands the climb. The fight. The world. He was painting a picture of a grand struggle, a romance with success, and in this narrative, she was just the poor girlfriend in the prologue. What single word would you use to describe Herman's attitude right now? The air crackled with the unspoken. This was the moment of the plot twist, though only one of them knew the script. Gloria finally spoke, her voice quiet. Circumstances, Herman. Or just me? Oh, great, he thought. She was going to make this emotional. He needed this to be a clean break, a surgical removal of his past. He had no time for this drama, he had to prepare. He was so close to his dream, he could practically taste the power. Don't make this harder than it has to be, he snapped, his patience gone. You're a sweet girl, Gloria. But you're too simple. Well, you're poor. There it was. The word. Had used it to humiliate her, to define her. He watched, almost hoping for a shocking outburst, 4 tears. It would validate his decision, prove she was too weak for his world. Instead, Gloria Fox just watched him. Her silence was deafening. He had no idea this was the beginning of his own regret. Herman took her silence as acquiescence, a sign of her simple nature. He grabbed his jacket, the symbol of his ambitious future. "It's for the best. You'll see. I'm going to be a CEO one day." He said the word CEO like a prayer, a title he coveted above all. He couldn't see the tragic irony, the mistaken identity of the situation. He was breaking up with a poor girlfriend to chase a billionaire, not realizing they were one and the same. He walked to the door, feeling a surge of adrenaline. Freedom. This was it. The first step toward his new life. He was leaving behind the mundane, the simple, the poor. "Goodbye, Gloria. I hope you find what you're looking for." He didn't mean it, not really. He was just saying the lines. He opened the door and stepped out, not looking back. He was completely oblivious to the fact that he'd just lost everything. Fox Holdings. To Herman Barton, the name was everything. It wasn't just a company, it was a kingdom, a pinnacle of power. It was elusive, prestigious, and, in his mind, the only place he was fit to work. He didn't just want a job there, he wanted it. He wanted the corner office, the title, the respect that came with being part of the billionaire legacy. He was driven, yes, but that drive was fueled by a blinding arrogance. He spent weeks, months, preparing. He didn't just study the company, he stalked it. He knew their quarterly reports better than his own name. He rehearsed answers in the shower, in front of the mirror, to Gloria. "They only hire the best," he'd say, as if she couldn't grasp the concept. His obsession with this job interview was total. It was a life-changing moment, and he'd let nothing, and no one, stand in his way. Not even the woman who was trying to love him. The CEO of Fox Holdings was a legend, a mystery. No one had seen them in years, not publicly. G. Fox, the name read. Herman had built up a mythology around this figure. G. Fox has to be a titan, head muse, a shark, just like me. He was convinced this CEO was a man's man, a cutthroat genius. This mistaken identity was a cornerstone of his fantasy. He was preparing to meet his idol, his equal. This ambition, however, was a cancer on his personality. It made him cruel. He saw the world in a binary way: assets and liabilities. People who could help him, and everyone else.
Gloria, with her gentle suggestions and quiet demeanor, was firmly in the everyone else category. He was obsessed with the idea of a power romance, and a poor girlfriend simply didn't fit that narrative. He truly believed he was the most brilliant candidate they'd ever see. His arrogance wasn't just confidence, it was a concrete belief in his own superiority. He felt the world owed him this position. He deserved it more than anyone else. This wasn't just ambition, it was a desperate, clawing need to be validated, to be seen as the powerful man he imagined himself to be. This emotional void drove him. He'd often talk at Gloria about his brilliant strategies. "You have to be ruthless, Gloria. That's the secret." He'd lecture, "The world is for the takers, not the givers." He was crafting his own downfall with every word, laying the bricks of his own humiliated future. He saw his drive as a virtue, not the poison it truly was. He was blind to the fact that true power wasn't about taking. He was, in essence, a man building a house of cards on a fault line. He was so obsessed with the idea of Fox Holdings, with the power of the CEO, that he missed every real clue. He didn't see the Fox logo on Gloria's old keychain, dismissing it as a trinket. He didn't question why she was so calm, so unbothered by the world. He was a detective who had already decided on the culprit. His entire world was narrowing to a single point: that final job interview. Everything he did, every person he spoke to, every meal he ate was a means to that end. This wasn't just a job, it was his destiny. It was his chance to finally shed his average life and become the man he was meant to be. Oh, the drama he was creating. The beautiful, terrible, shocking plot twist that was heading his way. Gloria Fox, on the other hand, was playing a different game entirely. Or rather, She wasn't playing a game at all. She was living. She had chosen this life, this simple, unassuming existence. It was her refuge, her experiment. After inheriting the billionaire empire her father built, Shed felt empty. She wanted to find something real, something not attached to her name. So she created a secret identity, Gloria, the part-time waitress. This wasn't some drama-fueled escapade. At first, it was a test. Could she be loved for who she was, not what she was? This rich woman, poor man dynamic. Well, she wanted to reverse it. She wanted to be the poor one, to see if true love could exist without the crushing weight of Fox Holdings. Then she met Herman, ambitious, driven, and Shed thought brilliant. A love story that started with such simple, honest promise. But oh, how patience is tested. She'd sit on that lumpy sofa, nursing a cup of tea, while Herman paced and pontificated. Head talked down to her, mansplained the very business she owned. Gloria, the market isn't about feelings. Head say, patronizingly, the CEO who had just approved a $300 million merger based on exactly theta feeling about a rival company's leadership would just nod. You're right, dear. It was a fascinating and increasingly painful social experiment. She listened. God, how she listened. She listened to him dissect the failures of her own company's recent moves she had personally orchestrated. They're too soft, Gloria. Their new green initiative? A waste of capital. He had no idea Shed just won an award for that very initiative. Her secret identity was a shield, but it was getting heavy. She watched the man she was falling for. Or at least, the man she wanted to be falling for. Morph into this arrogant stranger. He was so obsessed with a version of success that he was missing the real thing sitting right in front of him. Shed held out hope, thinking his ambition was just insecurity. But his condescension was a daily ritual. A ritual she patiently endured, waiting for a crack in facade. It was the ultimate mistaken identity. He looked at her and saw simple. He saw a poor girlfriend who needed his worldly explanations. He had no clue he was rehearsing his job interview in front of the final boss. The irony was so thick, it was almost comical, if it weren't so deeply, profoundly sad. She was the rich woman. He was the metaphorically poor man. She learned more about her company's operations from the ground level in 6 months than in 6 years in the boardroom. But she was also learning a brutal lesson about human nature. Herman wasn't just ambitious, he was unkind. And his unkindness was always directed down. He was so busy climbing, he stepped on anyone he perceived as being beneath him, including and especially her. Her patience, however, was not infinite. It was a well, and it was rapidly drying up. She was the CEO of Fox Holdings. She was a decision-maker. She commanded respect. Yet, in her own home, she was being treated as a child, an accessory. This romance was feeling less like true love and more like a very, very long and very disappointing board meeting she couldn't wait to adjourn. The mockery was subtle, at first. A laugh, a pat on the head. Oh, Gloria, that's adorable. But that's not how it works. She had offered advice on a marketing project he was stressed about, suggesting a more human-centric angle. He was working at a mid-level firm, dreaming of Fox Holdings, and he brought his work home like a bag of toxins. She was trying to help to give him the actual answers. That's just naive, Head scoffed, tossing his papers on the table. This is the real world, baby. It's not about connecting. It's about the bottom line. It's about crushing the competition. Gloria, who had literally just written the company directive for Fox Holdings redefining the bottom line to include employee well-being and customer loyalty, would just sip her tea. It was a masterclass in emotional restraint. It was the ultimate rich woman, poor man scenario, inverted and twisted. Here she was, a billionaire CEO, a titan of industry, being told by a junior account manager that her ideas were cute. This mistaken identity was becoming a farce. The drama wasn't just that he didn't know, it was that he was so arrogant. He assumed he knew everything. He was blind, deaf, and dumb to reality in front of him. She would gently push. But Herman, what if that is the bottom line? What if loyalty is the most valuable asset? He would laugh. A full, barking laugh that made her flinch. Who fed you that? That's what they tell the interns. It's a fantasy. He was so sure of his cynical worldview. He was preparing for his job interview with G. Fox, and he was convinced G. Fox was a predator just like him. This constant dismissal began to wear her down. It wasn't just about her secret identity anymore. It was about him. Who was this man, really? A man who could look at true love and kindness and call it naive? Call it a weakness? She started to feel a deep, chilling regret about their love story. This wasn't a romance, it was an audit, and he was failing. He was so busy trying to impress a ghost, a fantasy CEO, that he was actively insulting the real thing. It was a shocking level of obliviousness. He'd come home, humiliated by his own boss at his small firm, and take it out on her simplistic view of life. You don't get it, Gloria, because you don't have a drive. The irony was a blade twisting in her gut. If you were Gloria, be honest, would you have ended it right there? Or would you wait, just to see how deep the rabbit hole of his ignorance went? She was, after all, a CEO. She was used to studying problems before solving them. And Herman Barton was becoming her most fascinating and most emotional problem yet. This was beyond a plot twist. It was a character study in self-sabotage. He was so desperate to prove he was a real-world man, a man worthy of Fox Holdings. But he was demonstrating, day after day, that he was the exact opposite of what her company valued. He was a walking contradiction, a man who mocked the very principles he was ostensibly trying to join. His real world was a fantasy. Her naive world was the one that signed his checks. The test was simple. A last-ditch effort, really. They were having a rare, quiet dinner. No talk of his job. No talk of Fox Holdings. It was almost nice. Gloria, in her simple way, decided to lay the final card. Herman, she asked, her voice soft, what do you really want? If you had everything, what would be the one thing you value most? It was a life-changing question, and he didn't even see the trigger. He looked up from his plate, surprised. What do you mean? Like a boat? No. She clarified, what's the point of it all? For you, is it happiness? Is it true love? Family? She was giving him an out, a lifeline, a chance for redemption before the sin had even been fully committed. She was, at her core, a kind CEO, a hopeful rich woman. She was hoping for a different answer. Herman actually chuckled, as if the question was naive, his favorite word. Happiness? Love? Gloria, that's what people with money say. You can't pay the bills with a hug. That's for the poor. The word stung, but she held her ground, her face a mask of calm inquiry. So what is it then? She pressed. He leaned forward, his eyes gleaming with feverish light she had come to recognize. It wasn't love. It was hunger, power. He said, the word Elohis, that's the only thing that's real. The only thing. And money. They're the same thing. Really? The only thing. He sat back, proud of his answer, as if Head solved a great riddle. Head just signed his own death warrant. And he thought Head won. The drama was palpable. The plot twist was no longer a possibility. It was a certainty. He confirmed her worst fears. Gloria felt a coldness spread through her. This wasn't a romance. It was a transaction he was failing at. This was the end of their love story. In her heart, he wasn't just ambitious. He wasn't just arrogant. He was empty. He was chasing a billionaire lifestyle, not for freedom, but for the simple, brutish act of having power over others. He saw her silence and, in his typical mistaken identity fashion, misread it completely. He thought she was impressed. See? That's the real world. That's what G. Fox understands. That's why I'm going to get that job interview and nail it. He was so blind. He was describing a monster, and he was auditioning to be its equal. He was a poor man in every way that mattered. Head just told the most powerful CEO in the state that kindness and love were worthless. Head done it while eating food she had paid for, in an apartment she could buy 1,000 times over without noticing. The regret she felt was no longer for him, but for herself, for wasting her time, for hoping a man so obsessed with surfaces could have any depth. The test was over. The results were in. Herman Barton was a lost cause. The emotional core of their relationship, if it ever existed, was gone. She now had to move from girlfriend to CEO. And the CEO of Fox Holdings had a very different set of protocols for dealing with liabilities like him. The breakup was still fresh, but Herman, in his infinite arrogance, was still in her orbit. He was packing, he said. He was bragging. He was essentially performing for an audience he believed was beneath him. You know, the CEO of Fox Holdings, G. Fox. He said, taping up a box he didn't really need. They say this person is a ghost, a total genius. Gloria just leaned against the doorframe, a silent sentinel. I've been reading articles, anything I can find. He was vibrating with a nervous, excited energy. The CEO built the company into a billionaire empire. He was wrong. Her father built it, she saved it, but details. They're ruthless. They're brilliant. They're everything I admire. He was, in effect, writing fan fiction about her, to her. The mistaken identity was reaching truly epic proportions. They're a true visionary, not like these other soft-touch fools. They understand that power is the only thing that matters. He was quoting himself from their Power and Money dinner. He was projecting all his own toxic values onto this G. Fox, creating a boogeyman he desperately wanted to work for. Gloria, the soft-touch fool who started the Green Initiative, had mocked, just listened. I'm going to walk into that job interview, he declared, and G. Fox is going to see a younger version of themselves. They're going to see that same fire, that same killer instinct. Gloria had to physically stop herself from laughing. Killer instinct? This was a man who complained for 20 minutes when his dry cleaning was late. The drama was pure, uncut, theatrical comedy. This is a life-changing moment. Gloria, you don't understand. This is a big league. This isn't. This. He waved his hand around her apartment, her chosen sanctuary. He was insulting her home, her life, her identity, all while trying to get a job. From her. It was a shocking display of cluelessness. What a plot twist was brewing. She almost felt sorry for him. Almost. Here was this man, Herman Barton, so desperate for approval from a fantasy figure. And in his quest, he was trampling on the real thing. He was bragging to the rich woman about how he was going to impress the CEO, not knowing she was both. This romance was now just a case study in irony. I just hope I'm ready, he said, a flicker of rare doubt. They say, gee, Fox eats people like me for breakfast. Oh, I don't know, Herman, Gloria said, her first words in minutes. You might be surprised. Her voice was level, but it had an edge he was too self-absorbed to notice. He thought she was just being his poor girlfriend, simple and naive. He scoffed. Yeah, well, what would you know about it? Just wish me luck. Not that he'll need it. He was polishing his own humiliated future like a trophy. He was walking into the lion's den, bragging about how he was going to tame the lion, all while holding a steak, which he had stolen from the lion. This was going to be better than revenge. This was justice. It was meant to be one last meal, a goodbye dinner. Gloria had suggested a small, quiet restaurant. Herman, of course, had insisted on somewhere flashy, somewhere it might be seen by the right people. She agreed. She knew the owner. In fact, she was the owner. It was one of her smaller passion project holdings. A perfect place for a final, emotional test. The waiter approached. A kind-looking older man. His name was Robert. He was, in fact, not a waiter. He was the CFO of Fox Holdings, a man who managed billions of dollars. He was in on Gloria's secret identity and was deeply, fiercely loyal. Good evening. May I start you with some water? Robert asked. Gloria noted, a terrible waiter. But he was game. Herman didn't even look up from the menu. Yeah, fine. And give me the wine list. The real one, not the cheap stuff. Robert, who had personally selected that cheap stuff for its award-winning pedigree, just smiled. Of course, sir. Gloria watched Herman. His transformation was instant. Around her, he was condescending. Around a waiter, he was a full-blown tyrant. Herman snapped his fingers. Snapped. Hey, you, am ready to order. And hurry up. Robert, a man who could buy this entire city block, just nodded. "My apologies, sir. I'm moving a bit slow tonight." "Yeah, well, move faster," Herman sneered. "I'm on a schedule. I have a life-changing job interview tomorrow. I'm important." Gloria felt her heart sink. This wasn't just arrogance. This was cruelty. This was the man who wanted to be a CEO. This was the man who thought he was her equal. No, her superior. He was treating a man he perceived as a nobody, a poor working man, like absolute garbage. This was his true character, unfiltered. This wasn't a drama for show. This was the real Herman. She was witnessing the death of any lingering hope for him. She looked at Robert, her colleague in disguise, and gave him a look. "I'm so sorry." He gave her a tiny, almost imperceptible shake of the head. "Well, deal with this." He was, after all, her CFO. He was used to handling bad assets. Herman was oblivious, barking out his order, complaining about the lighting, the tacky silverware. She saw the future he was building. A future built on humiliating those he thought were beneath him. The rich woman-poor man dynamic was playing out, but not how he thought. He was the poor man, spiritually, morally, and in every way that mattered. The man next to her was rotten to the core. The regret was no longer a quiet ache, it was a fire. She had been holding out hope for a spark of redemption, a sign that the man she had first met was still in there. But this display? This was shocking. It was the final nail in the coffin of their love story. This wasn't just a breakup anymore. This was pest control. Her CEO brain was now fully in charge. Even after the restaurant, a part of her hesitated. Wasn't that a human thing to do? To hope? She was a billionaire CEO, yes, but she was also Gloria. And Gloria had wanted, so desperately, to find true love. She had seen a flicker in Herman once, a spark of determination that she had thought was just misdirected. She had hoped his ambition was a shield, not a sword. She had seen men like him before in her boardroom. They were loud, arrogant, and deeply, deeply insecure. Usually they could be managed, coached. She had held out hope that Herman's real-world talk was just a performance, a drama he was putting on to psych himself up for the big job interview. She hoped the real Herman was the man who had laughed at her joke once. Her heart, which she had guarded for so long with her secret identity, was, unfortunately, still emotional. It wanted this love story to work. It wanted the plot twist to be that he knew all along and was just kidding. A fantasy, she knew, but hope is a stubborn thing. It's not logical. It survives on crumbs, and she was starving. This romance had been her one real attempt at a normal life. If it failed, what did that say? That she was destined to be the rich woman, the CEO, forever isolated by her power and money? She didn't want to believe that. She wanted to believe that a rich woman, poor man, or, in this case, poor girlfriend dynamic could exist. She wanted to believe in redemption. Maybe the pressure of the job interview was just too much. Maybe he was terrified, and it was coming out as arrogance. She tried to find excuses. She tried to see the better man hiding underneath the layers of obnoxious bluster. She was, in essence, trying to find a distressed asset that she could turn around. She was thinking like a CEO, even in love. But the evidence was piling up. The mockery, the power and money speech, the waiter. This wasn't a man hiding his goodness. This was a man broadcasting his awfulness. He wasn't insecure. He was just mean. Her hope was starting to feel less like optimism and more like willful, shocking stupidity. Be honest, have you ever held on to hope for someone long after they proved they weren't worth it? It's a universal feeling, right? That's what Gloria was doing. She was giving him every benefit of the doubt, even when he was actively setting fire to that doubt. She was a hopeful billionaire, a walking contradiction. The regret she was about to feel was for her own hope. Her hope was a flickering candle. And Herman Barton was a walking, talking windstorm. She knew, deep down, that the better man wasn't hiding. He just wasn't there. He didn't exist. The man she was seeing was the real Herman. And as that realization settled in, her heart hardened. The CEO was back. The charade was almost over. This was it, the breaking point, the moment of no return. Herman was celebrating his upcoming job interview with a few of his equally obnoxious, sycophantic friends. Head allowed Gloria to come, as if it were a privilege. The setting allowed, overpriced bar. Gloria was quiet, just observing, her CEO mask firmly in place. She was just a simple girl, his poor girlfriend. Herman was drunk, not just on alcohol, but on his own future. His friends were hyping him up. "You're gonna kill it, man. You'll be a CEO in no time." "What about her?" one of them asked, gesturing to Gloria. "She gonna fit in with all the billionaire wives?" They laughed. It was a cruel, braying sound. The drama was now public. Herman laughed the loudest. He put his arm not around Gloria, but on the back of the booth, trapping her, but not touching her. A gesture of ownership, not affection. "Gloria? Oh, she's great. But come on." He looked at her, his eyes cold. "Look, you guys know I'm going to the top. I need a partner who is my equal, a powerhouse. Not," he said, and he actually poked her shoulder, a charity case. The words hit Gloria like a physical slap. Charity case. The room went silent for a beat. Even his idiotic friends seemed to realize a line had been crossed. He had just called the owner of Fox Holdings, the woman who could buy and sell this entire block, a charity case. This was the ultimate humiliation. Not for her. For him. He just didn't know it yet. He had humiliated himself in front of the one person he was desperately, pathetically, trying to impress, albeit in disguise. His mistaken identity of her was complete. She was a charity case. The poor girlfriend. The rich woman just stared at him. Gloria Fox stood up. The movement was so sudden, so graceful, it cut off Herman's laugh. She didn't cry. She didn't yell. She looked at Herman with a terrifying, cold clarity. It was the same look she gave a board member who had just suggested something truly, profoundly stupid. It was a look of assessment, of finality. The emotional storm had passed. This was a calm. "I see," she said. Just 2 words. She pulled a few bills from her simple purse of prop, really, and placed them on the table. "For my drink." "Gloria, wait, I was just..." Herman started, suddenly looking scared. Had seen something shift. Had seen the CEO. But it was too late. The redemption window had closed. She walked out of the bar. She didn't run. She glided. Every head turned. She was no longer Gloria, the poor girlfriend. She was G. Fox, and she had a job interview to prepare for. Herman was left there, stunned, suddenly sober. The regret was just beginning to hit him, a shocking premonition of his own doom. The revenge was coming. She walked for blocks. The cold night air did nothing to cool the burn of his words. Charity case. It was absurd. It was laughable. But it also hurt. It hurt not because it was true, but because he believed it. The man she had allowed into her life, her secret identity, had looked at her kindness and seen weakness. He had looked at her simplicity and seen poverty. She was heartbroken, but not for the reason he would think. She wasn't heartbroken because she was losing him. She was heartbroken because the man she thought he was, the man she had hoped for, had never existed at all. It was a love story with a ghost. The romance was a fiction she had written for herself. He was, as she now fully accepted, blinded by status. She arrived at her other home, the penthouse, the one Herman Barton didn't know existed, the one that overlooked the entire city, including the tiny, sad bar he was still sitting in. She keyed in the code and the lights came up, revealing a world of quiet, minimalist, billionaire elegance. The charade was over. She stripped off her Gloria costume, the simple jeans, the worn sweater. She let her hair down. This was a life-changing moment for her, too. She had gone into the world seeking true love, a rich woman looking for something real, and had found, instead, a poor man of spirit. The emotional experiment was a catastrophic failure. Or was it, she had found the truth, and the truth, while painful, was powerful. She now knew, without a shadow of a doubt, what kind of man Herman Barton was. She also knew what kind of CEO she was. She was one who had given every chance, every benefit of the doubt. Her conscience was clear. She made a call. "Robert, it's done." "Gloria." His voice was full of concern. "Are you all right?" "MG." "Fox again," she said, her voice like steel. "And am coming into the office. We need to prepare for tomorrow's final job interview." The drama was over. The business was beginning. This was no longer about regret. It was about restructuring. The man she cared for. She had to accept he was gone. Or rather, he was never there. He was blinded by the idea of money, the idea of power. He couldn't see the real thing when it was making him dinner. The plot twist was that her heart wasn't just broken, it was forged, hardened, sharpened, and the object of its new focus was one Herman Barton. She looked out over the city. "He needs an equal," she whispered to Glass. "Tomorrow, he'll finally meet one." This wasn't about revenge. Not really. It was about a performance review. The most shocking, high-stakes performance review of his entire pathetic life. The CEO was back. Herman woke up with a pounding headache. The bar. Gloria. Charity case. He had a brief, flashing moment of something. Was it guilt? Regret? Had seen her face. The look in her eyes. It wasn't the teary drama of a poor girlfriend being dumped. It was something else. Something cold. It scared him for a second. He had a shocking feeling had made a terrible mistake. But then he looked at the clock. 9:00 a.m. His job interview was at 1:00 p.m. The life-changing moment. The guilt evaporated, replaced by a surge of pure, uncut adrenaline. Who cared about Gloria Fox? She was his past. Fox Holdings was his future. Had humiliated her, sure, but hadn't he needed to cut the final tie? He shook it off, literally. A man on a mission. He was going to meet G. Fox, the legend. He was going to walk into that boardroom and own it. He was Herman Barton, and he was a powerhouse. Gloria was just Gloria, a charity case. He was better off without her. He needed an equal. He was, in his own mind, already a CEO. He practiced his speech in the mirror. Power is the only currency. Ruthless efficiency. A company is a shark. It stops moving. It dies. He had all the buzzwords. He was ready. This romance with his own potential was the only true love he needed. He was so excited, he was practically vibrating. This was the day had be seen. He put on his suit, the one had bought on credit. He looked powerful. He looked like a G. Fox employee. He was so focused on the mistaken identity he had built for the CEO that he didn't even consider, well, anything else. He was a horse with blinders on, racing toward the edge of a cliff he couldn't see. The plot twist was coming, and he was running to meet it. He thought back to Gloria. Why had she looked like that? It was a passing, annoying thought, like a fly. He swatted it away. She was probably crying in her apartment, realizing what she had lost. A man on his way to being a billionaire. Good. It was for the best. This was a rich man, poor man world, and he was finally on the winning side. He grabbed his briefcase. He felt no regret. He felt no emotional tie. He was a machine built for success. He was walking into Fox Holdings, his dream company. He was ready to impress the mystery CEO. He had no idea he was walking into his own execution. The surprise was going to be biblical. He left his apartment, not as Herman Barton, but as the idea of Herman Barton had created. He was an actor playing a part, and he was about to walk on stage the final, shocking scene, completely unaware that he was the only one in the theater who didn't know how the play ended. This was his life-changing day, all right? The lobby of Fox Holdings was designed to humiliate. It was a cathedral of glass and steel, so vast it made you feel like an insect. Herman Barton, however, felt at home. This was his world. This was where he belonged. He gave his name to the receptionist, his voice oozing a confidence he didn't quite feel but was projecting. Herman Barton, 4G Fox. Yes, Mr. Barton. They are expecting you. 50th floor. He liked the sound of that. Mysterious. Powerful. The elevator ride was silent, smooth and terrifying. He checked his tie. He rehearsed his opening lines. This was the life-changing job interview. This was it. The drama was all in his head. A script had memorized. He stepped out onto the 50th floor. Silence. Just thick, expensive carpet and a single, imposing set of oak doors. A woman impossibly elegant nodded to him. Mr. Barton, right this way. G. Fox will be with you. He was being led to the inner sanctum. He was ready to meet the CEO had idolized, the ruthless genius. The boardroom was intimidating. A long, darkwood table, a wall of windows overlooking the entire city, and at the far end, a single, high-backed executive chair. Facing the window, away from him, a figure was silhouetted against the bright light. The mystery CEO, G. Fox, the mistaken identity, was about to be corrected. Mr. Barton, thank you for coming, a voice said. It was not what he expected. It was female, and it was familiar. A shocking jolt of something hit his nervous system. No, it couldn't be. He was just nervous. He was projecting. Please have a seat, the voice said. He walked, his shoes silent on the rug, to the single chair placed opposite the executive one. He sat, his back ramrod straight. His rehearsed speech was on the tip of his tongue. He was ready to impress. He was ready to meet the power. He was ready for his new life to begin. It's an honor to meet you, sir. Or, ma'am, he stammered. A small, low chuckle from the chair. Oh, ma'am will do just fine, Herman. The voice was, no. This was a plot twist too cruel, too impossible. This wasn't real. This was a romance novel level of absurdity. And then, slowly, the executive chair began to turn around. Herman Barton's world, his future, his entire sense of self, all balanced on the pivot of that single chair. He was ready to meet G. Fox, but he was not ready for truth. The surprise was about to stop his heart. The chair completed its turn. Herman Barton's brain simply shut down. It was a shocking system failure. He was looking, but he was not processing. Seated before him, in a dark, impeccably tailored power suit, was Gloria. But it wasn't Gloria, not his Gloria. This was G. Fox. This woman was not the simple poor girlfriend. This was not the charity case. This was a rich woman, a billionaire, a CEO. Her hair was styled. Her makeup was subtle, but terrifying. Her eyes, the same eyes that had watched him with patience, were now looking at him with a cold, analytical, owner's gaze. The mistaken identity was a bomb that had just detonated in his face. Gloria, he whispered. It was the only sound he could make that her lips curled into a smile that was not a smile. It was a baring of teeth. That's MS. Fox to you, Mr. Barton, she said, her voice echoing in the cavernous room. Please sit we have. So much to discuss. G. Fox, Gloria Fox, had never even made the connection, had been so blinded by his own narrative, his entire love story. Know his entire life. Flashed before his eyes, every arrogant speech, every patronizing comment, your naive power and money charity case. Oh, God, the regret. It was a physical, crushing weight. He wasn't just humiliated, he was annihilated. He was a poor man in the presence of the goddess he had mistaken for a milkmaid, had walked in ready perform for a ruthless, he had bragged to his poor ex-girlfriend about it, and now he was facing the shocking plot twist that they were the same person. This wasn't a job interview, this was the reckoning. This was revenge. Served on a 50th floor, solid gold plattered. Herman's mouth opened and closed. His rehearsed speech about sharks and power turned to ash in his mouth. He was a shark, and had just swum into the owner's tank. The drama he had created, the romance with his own ambition. It was all a pathetic joke. He was the punchline. Gloria Fox, the CEO of Fox Holdings, leaned forward. She hadn't said a word of substance, and she had already won. She had already destroyed him. His life-changing day was here. It was just changing the other direction. He was in a free fall. He wasn't just going to be rejected for the job. He was going to be eviscerated. He stammered to me. she agreed, her voice smooth, the CEO, the ghost, the genius, and also, I believe, your charity case. The words hit him harder than a freight train. The surprise would complete. His world had not just stopped, it had been inverted, shaken, and shattered. So, Mr. Barton, Gloria began. She picked up a single, elegant pen. The click it made as she activated it was the loudest sound Herman had ever heard. Your resume is... impressive. In its... ambition. Her voice was calm. It wasn't emotional. It wasn't the voice of his ex-girlfriend. It was the voice of the CEO of a billionaire empire. And it was terrifying. Let's dispense with the pleasantries, shall we? She continued that I feel I know you that quite well. To Herman's blood was ice. He couldn't speak. He could only watch as this titan prepared to dissect him. This was a revenge. It was quiet, professional, and utterly devastating. He was humiliated before the interview had even started. You're here for a high-power position, she said, looking at a file on her desk. His file. You believe you're a powerhouse, that you're, my equal, that his own words. From the bar, she was quoting him. She was using his own humiliating speech against him. This was the ultimate plot twist. The poor girlfriend had a perfect memory. My first question, she said, looking up, her eyes locking with his. This job requires an understanding of... value. So, tell me, Mr. Barton, what do you value most? It was the exact same question from the dinner. His power and money speech. He couldn't breathe. She knew she had been testing him. The love story had been a job interview all along. He choked. Is it power and money? She asked, her eyebrow raised, because here at Fox Holdings, we find those things to be byproducts, not goals. She was toying with him. This was a drama of her own making, and he was the only actor who hadn't gotten the script. The regret was a physical pain, a sickness in his gut. You also mentioned, I believe, that kindness is naive, that a human-centric approach is what they tell the interns. She was quoting him verbatim. All the advice had mocked, all the stupid ideas from a simple girlfriend they were. Her ideas, her company's ideas, the mistaken identity. That had been insulting the CEO. 4 months. And finally, she said, leaning back, my main concern. You have a tendency to misjudge assets, that you look at something valuable and I call it charity case, the final blade. He was done. He was finished. He had humiliated himself more than she ever could. He had walked in wanting a job, and he had realized had lost. Everything so, Herman, she said, her voice softening just a fraction, dropping to Mr. Barton. This is your job interview. This is your life-changing moment. The floor is yours. Impress me. She was giving the stage, the one had always wanted. And he had nothing, absolutely nothing. Herman looked at the woman head. What? Loved? No, the head used her, had taken her kindness, and used it to sharpen his own cruelty, his prepared speech. Sharks. Ruthlessness. It was... pathetic. It was a child's fantasy. He was looking at real power. And real power was... calm. It was... he was completely, utterly broken. The arrogance was gone. The ambition. It felt so... small the CEO had wanted to be. He was a monster. And the CEO in front of him. She was... everything. He didn't care about the job interview. He didn't care about the power or the money. He cared, for the first time, about the regret, the shocking, all-consuming regret. He didn't just abandon his speech. He abandoned himself. The Herman had been trying to be. He died in that chair a new man, a humiliated man, a poor man in the truest sense, looked at Gloria Fox, and he began to speak. A tear, a real, emotional tear, fell off to get the job. He whispered, his voice cracking. I don't want it. I don't deserve it. He looked her in the eyes, a raw, desperate apology. Gloria. MS. Fox. I am. So sorry. This wasn't a tactic. This wasn't a play. This was redemption, or the beginning of it. the raw, desperate apology was all he had left. I wasn't just blind, he said, the words tumbling out now that I was. That cruel that I. That why was I so cruel? To you, that too. That the waiter, to, that you did. He was finally connecting the dots, that you. That you were. That good to me, you were the only real thing in my life, that, and I. That I called you. That I called you a charity case. He choked on the word. It was his. And it was poison that I was so. Stupid I was so. That obsessed that with this. He jested the room with the idea of this that I thought it would make me that strong, that, but it just made me that weak, that it mean that I missed, that I missed. Everything. He wasn't speaking to the sill. He was speaking to the woman whose heart he had broken. The woman had humiliated. I don't. I'd expect you to forgive me, and I definitely don't expect this job that I needed you to know that the man who said those things, that I don't want to be him anymore. He was that broken, that, but in a good way, that like a bone that had been set. He was offering that redemption that Gloria Fox watched him. She didn't speak, that she just, that listen, the CEO was gone for a moment. The rich woman was gone, that it was just Gloria, and she was seeing something new, that a spark, that not of ambition, that, but of that humanity, that the plot twist was that he might be salvageable. There was a long, profound silence. The drama in the room had shifted. It was no longer revenge played, it was that something else, that it was that emotional, that deeply that Gloria Fox studied the broken man in front of her. The arrogance was gone, the bluster. It evaporated. She saw the genuine redemption in his eyes. It was that shocking. He wasn't faking that she had seen the best fakers in the world. Herman Barton wasn't one of them. He was just the poor man who had realized too late what true wealth was. She saw his regret, that, and she saw his potential, the real potential, that not for being a CEO, but for being not a good person. This was a plot twist she hadn't seen coming. She finally spoke. Her voice was softer now, not the citizen, not the poor girlfriend's, just hers, that you are. That absolutely right. Herman, you are not right for this job. He nodded, accepting it. It was the truth, the man who walked in here. He was everything I despise in a leader. He was a liability. He was that cruel, she said, and he was that weak. He was blinded by status, that my status. And by her own, the Herman didn't flinch. He took the words. He deserved them. He was ready for her to call security. He was ready to be thrown out. He was not ready for what she said next, but that she said, pausing the man who just, that gave that apology, that the man who is sitting in that chair right now, he's not the man I've known for 6 months. He's someone new. She saw the flicker of hope in his eyes, not for a job, not for her, for that true love. She said, motioning to him, is not right for the job, but that man, he might be right. For a second chance that Herman's head snapped up that with, this was a surprise. This was a redemption. This was a life-changing moment, that not the one had planned, a better one. That she stood up. The interview was over now. I get out of my boardroom. Herman, that his face fell, but she said, a small, real smile playing on her lips, you can. That buy me a coffee, that in the lobby, that as. That just Herman, that, and it'll be. That just Gloria, that a love story. That maybe that could begin, that a real one, that you'll have to start from. That nothing, she warned, I know, he said, standing up, his voice still rough, that I think I'd do like that. He was a poor man. She was a rich woman, that, but for the first time, they were equals. The romance was uncertain, but it was, for the first time, Real Today's Story is a powerful reminder your true value is not defined by your bank account, but by your character. That power and status are illusions. How you treat people when you think you have the advantage, that is the only truth. If you also believe that kindness is the real superpower and that integrity is the ultimate currency, then you've found your place. Subscribe right now and join a community that values what truly matters. Now for the trifecta, like this video to spread this message of humility and true love. Comment with your answer. At what exact moment in the story did you feel the most emotional? Share this with one person who needs to see that a plot twist can lead to redemption. And while you wait for what's next, know that our channel is a treasure chest filled with emotional journeys just like this one. Explore our older videos and discover other unforgettable stories of redemption and life-changing moments. Finally, to make sure you never miss any of the incredible stories we have yet to tell, activate that notification bell. You won't want to be left out of the next amazing journey.